Hello everyone, I'm Chris, and welcome to another episode of Winter Moon Games Tabletop Reviews. Today, I'm excited to be showing you another Kickstarter preview. This game is called Builders, the building deck building game. The game supports 2 to 4 players, and you'll be playing as building contractors working to build the best buildings. You're going to be doing that by hiring different employees and building floors in your buildings. Like any good deck builder, you're all going to start with the same starting hand. You're going to have the CEO, the lawyer, the investor, and the general contractor. You're going to shuffle those and you're going to draw 3 to start with, and you're going to use those on your first turn. You're then going to go ahead and shuffle all the other cards together and put them in one deck. Then you're going to put out 6 cards in the front next to that deck. Now there's a whole bunch of employees and different floors you can build in your buildings. I'm not going to go through all of them because there's just too many of them. I'm just going to show you one for example. This is the drywaller. Let's say the drywaller is out here in the available contracts row. In the top right hand corner of the card, you'll see 2 empty beer mugs. Beer is basically your currency in this game. You're going to use beer to recruit employees and hire them to build your floors. So on my first turn, let's say I drew the investor, the lawyer, and the CEO. And just like familiar deck building mechanics, you're going to have some resources that you generate from those cards. So I actually have 3 beers to spend on this turn. You only get 1 employee hire and 1 floor building action per turn. So I have to play my cards right. The drywaller costs 2 beers to recruit, so I definitely have 2 beers alone with the investor. So I'm going to go ahead and purchase this drywaller. Obviously, the more beer you have in the beginning, the better, because you'll be able to get some of those more powerful employees, because let's face it, we want a bunch of drunk people building our buildings, right? As you recruit new employees, you're going to generate different resources on your turn if you play these cards. For instance, the drywaller that I just purchased can generate a hammer or an axe and draw a card. When you generate hammers in your hand, you can actually use them to build floors inside of your building. For example, this subsidized residential card was in the available contracts area. In the top right hand corner, you see a board and it's got some nails in it. The number of nails in the board indicate how many hammers it takes to buy this card and put it in your building. So my drywaller, since she only generates 1 hammer, I would not be able to buy this subsidized residential on the same turn. Let's say, for instance, that I did have enough hammers this turn and I did buy this card. It goes into my plaza, which is basically my area where I'm going to be building my buildings and my floors. Just make a space over on your side of the table for your plaza and you've got your first building started. As I generate more hammers and I build more floors in my building, the buildings are going to grow taller. There is no limit to how many floors you can have in a building, but once you put a roof on top of that building, it is considered complete. Each floor has a value on the lower right-hand corner that's going to be generated at the end of the game for victory points. You're going to be obviously trying to get the most points in a building possible. Now, there is 1 card hidden in the deck that if it gets revealed in the available contracts row, it immediately gets played. It's called the Inspector, and it affects all players in the game. This card can really mess you over if you weren't paying attention. I'll explain this as simply as I can. When you really think about it, you're going to be building your buildings intuitively. You would put stronger boards at the base, the foundation of your structure. Obviously, if you're building a building, it's the same in this. So you want to look at the boards that have the nails in them. The ones with more nails need to be at the bottom of your building, and the ones with less nails need to be closer to the top or above ones with more nails. So the inspector will demolish all floors with more nails than the floor below it. So in my previous game, I had just been building, floors and I wasn't paying attention. This came out like turn 3 and I lost almost all of my floors. I mean, it does kind of make sense that if I'm recruiting guys with beer and they're a little tipsy, maybe they're trying to cut corners, but unfortunately we're working with a by-the-book inspector, so don't try anything smooth. One thing I wanted to mention was that some employees have a specialty, which means they can only help build certain floors in your building. For example, the plumber, if I decide not to generate beer and axes this turn, she can generate 2 hammers and the residential specialty, which allows me to build the subsidized residential on that turn. Other employees can build that, but the plumber can only build residentials. Now, I mentioned axes, but I accidentally forgot to mention what they do. They are able to destroy floors in your building, and it's the same as hammers. With hammers, you need to have if the floorboard has 3 nails, you need to have 3 hammers to build it. If the floorboard has 3 nails, you need 3 axes to demolish it. So in a 2-player game, the game end is triggered by the first person to get 10 floors. But at the end of the game, you're going to calculate all the points in your building, and whoever has the most points wins. I actually don't have a lot of criticism for this game. It's a really fun deck builder. It's light, it's not super complicated. It's a bit of a gateway deck builder. It introduces you to some of those more complex ones. If you like deck builders, it has a unique twist on the genre because you're now buying cards and putting them off to the side and building buildings with those cards. So you really do have to be strategic in how you plan your nails and which employees you're going to buy. And it's funny. I mean, at first I was a little confused why I was recruiting employees with beer, but then I realized it's very tongue-in-cheek. This game doesn't take itself too seriously, and you can find that just based on the names of certain floors and how they kind of have these really strange references. The publishers of this game are called Broken Things. This has a 4-person design team whose names I am most certainly going to butcher: Nat Sanderson, Tyler Omshniski, Cam Parkinson, and Maud Kroll. So what you're seeing is a prototype. This is actually a print and play version of the game, so don't judge the quality of this prototype. The artwork is fun and lighthearted. There's a lot of diversity in the game. A lot of different cultures and ethnicities are represented within the employees. Now before I score the game, I just want to say one thing. I'm actually going to be changing the way that I score tabletop games because a rating from 1 to 10 is a pretty large scope for a board game to hit. There's just a lot of things in that range that are hard to gauge. So I'm going to go down from 1 to 5 because those are things I can rate very easily: artwork and mechanics and innovation. And so this is the first Kickstarter preview that I'll be rating with the 1 to 5 system. So overall, I gotta give Builders, the Building Buildings deck building game, a 4 out of 5 moons. The game is fun, and like I said, it's a gateway to other deck builders. Definitely check them out on Kickstarter. They're live now. Once again, thank you so much for watching Winter Moon Games Tabletop Reviews. You can check out our reviews all the time at wintermoongames.com/reviews. Please subscribe to this channel if you're looking to see more reviews and more gaming related content. You can find us on social media: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. If you'd like me to preview your Kickstarter or review your tabletop game as an indie publisher or designer, please send me an email at cb@wintermoongames.com. So grab your nice cold mug and get ready to recruit some employees. Check out Builders, the Building Buildings deck building game, live on Kickstarter now. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. So overall, I gotta give Builders the Buildings deck building game. So overall, I gotta give Builders the Buildings deck building game.